Welcome to the Deep Dive. Today, we're diving into a challenge that is, well, it's common to pretty much everyone learning English. It's about moving past that fear, the shyness, and getting to a place of real confidence and fluency when you speak. We've all been there. That pit in your stomach when your mind just goes blank.
Or that anxiety about making a mistake kicks in.
Yeah, exactly.
And that anxiety is so real. I think what makes the source material you shared so brilliant is that it actually addresses that. It doesn't ignore the emotional side of learning a language.
Right.
So our mission today is to unpack these sources. We're looking at transcripts on things like simple present tense, daily routines, all from videos like Easy English Hub and English Easy Practice. And we want to give you the sort of psychological permission and the practical tools you need to just start speaking.
I love that, psychological permission. We're looking for a shortcut to being well-informed, but more importantly, well-prepared to actually open your mouth and, talk.
Combining emotional support with some really practical foundational grammar.
Okay, let's unpack this. I think we have to start with the biggest hurdle. The sources identify it right at the beginning. It's that feeling of inadequacy. That voice that says, I'm not good enough, or, my English is weak.
And it often comes from outside pressure, right?
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
People laughing or maybe just speaking way too fast for you to follow.
And that feeling, it shuts you down instantly.
It does. And the sources are so smart about this. They spend time building up what is essentially a philosophical shield against that feeling.
And rule number one is just, it is absolutely okay to make mistakes.
Yes.
Everyone does. Mistakes are actually proof that you're learning. It takes time, and you should really see yourself as brave just for trying in the first place.
I love that shift in focus. It totally changes the goal. The sources insist that the objective is not perfection.
No.
It's communication.
That's it.
If the other person understands what you mean, you won. That's the bar. We're not trying to become Shakespeare here.
You're just trying to describe our day.
So what about in that moment when the panic hits? You forget a word. What do the sources say?
The technique is simple. Adapt, don't stop.
Adapt, don't stop. I like that.
Yeah. If you forget a complicated word, just use another easy word. The key is to keep the momentum going. It's the stopping that really kills your confidence.
And for building that stability, there's this great little prep loop in the material. It says to write simple sentences first, then read them out loud.
Get used to the sound of your own voice.
Right. And then repeat those same sentences every single day. It's like building muscle memory for your mouth.
And if you're nervous in the moment, the advice is pretty universal.
Let me guess. Take a deep breath.
Take a deep breath, smile, and this is the important part. Make a commitment to speaking slowly.
That's a huge point.
Oh, it's crucial. When you're starting, clear and slow English is so much better than fast, complicated English. The sources keep coming back to this idea, the power of simplicity. They really push learners to master the shortest, most basic sentences. Things like, I walk, I read, I write, I play. You can actually express a surprising amount with just those simple little structures.
Okay, so fear is the enemy. The sources give us this emotional shield. What's the technical weapon they give us to fight back?
The ultimate weapon for building that foundation is mastering the simple present tense.
Right, the SPT.
It's the perfect place to start. If you only learn one tense, this is it. The material shows it has two main functions that honestly cover most of your daily interactions.
Okay, so what's the first one?
First, it's for talking about your daily life, your habits, your routines. I wake up at 7, I brush my teeth, that kind of thing.
And the second one is about expressing your personality, really.
Exactly. Your likes and dislikes. I like apples, I don't like bananas.
So if you can master just those two things, you can basically structure your whole day and your personality in simple English.
You've got it.
And this is where it gets really interesting, because the source material goes deep on the specific grammar rules that cause the most stress, the things that make people freeze up.
Yeah, they really focus on the main technical challenge of the simple present tense. Rule 1 is the easy part, the base form.
For I, you, we, and they.
Right, you just use the simplest form of the verb. I go, we study English, no problem.
But then comes the part that causes all the anxiety. The biggest reason people feel like they sound incorrect.
The famous S rule.
Rule number 2. For he, she, and it, you have to add that as or es to the verb.
And this is where the sources are so careful. They give crystal clear examples. I go to school, but she goes to school.
Or the tricky ones, like how study changes to studies.
Yeah.
The whole Y to IEs thing.
It's a mechanical rule, but you know what? Mastering that little S gives you this huge boost. It makes you feel correct, and that feeling feeds right back into your confidence.
I think it's just brilliant that they hit this right away, because if you're using those simple sentences like, she walks fast, you have to get that S right. But what about when you ask a question or say something negative? That's where it gets more
It
complicated.
does, but again, the sources simplify it. They introduce the helping verb do.
Okay.
They make it clear. You use do for I, you, we, they, and does for he, she, it. So you have to ask, does he read the newspaper?
And the answer would be yes, he does, or no, he doesn't.
Exactly. And that brings us to that massive technical trap the sources flag immediately. The mistake everyone makes.
Oh, I know this one. It's what comes after doesn't.
Ah, yes. This is the crucial detail. When you use the negative doesn't, you do not add S to the main verb.
So you say, he doesn't like pizza.
Correct. You do not, and they really emphasize this, you do not say he doesn't like pizza.
Because the S is already in the does.
The S is already in the does. You only apply it once. And fixing that one little error can prevent a mistake that honestly plagues some speakers for years. It's such a key piece of knowledge.
So once you have that technical shield, you can focus on daily practice. This is where we move from the rules to the how-to.
This is where the fluency really starts to build, yeah.
And one of the key phrases the sources repeat over and over is, you have to get in the habit of practicing.
Absolutely. The material really stresses the concept of consistent practice. It's not about intense, 3-hour study sessions on a Sunday.
Yeah.
5 minutes every single day is so much more powerful. Small, consistent changes, that's what leads to big improvement over time.
Okay, so let's get into the specifics. The sources pull out 4 actionable techniques from successful learners. First one is shadowing. How does that actually work? How does copying someone help you?
Shadowing is fascinating because it's not really about grammar. It's about the music of English.
The music.
Yeah. When you listen to a simple English video and you repeat it, you're copying the rhythm, the intonation. You're training your mouth muscles and your ear to hear the natural flow of the language. It's a physical exercise.
That makes a lot of sense. A vocal workout.
Uh,
Okay, technique 2 is more hands-on. Immersion through action.
This is a brilliant little neurological trick. You say the sentences while you are actually doing the action.
So if I'm making tea,
You say, I pour the water. I drink the tea. You're creating this direct link in your brain between the physical action and the English word, and it helps you bypass that step of translating in your head.
so you start to think in English.
During your daily routine, yes.
Number 3 is daily repetition, which goes right back to mastering that simple present tense.
Exactly. You practice that whole daily routine paragraph. I wake up at 7:00, I brush my teeth, I wash my face, over and over and over again. Repetition takes the mental effort out of speaking. Once you can say your routine without thinking, you've automated that core grammar.
And the last one they recommend is reading aloud. Reading short stories, but slowly. Why is reading aloud so much better than just reading silently?
Silent reading is fantastic for comprehension, but reading aloud is all about pronunciation and fluency. When you force yourself to actually say the words, you catch pronunciation mistakes you might just gloss over in your head. The sources are clear. Read slowly, be clear, and just let your mouth get comfortable with making the shapes of English words.
Okay, but what about the frustration of speaking so slowly? I can see how that might feel like, a step backward for some people.
The sources offer a lot of reassurance on that. Speaking slowly is not just acceptable, it's encouraged. The goal is clarity,
Not speed.
not speed. Speed will come naturally over time as that muscle memory builds. You can't rush it. You have to focus on correct, deliberate speech right now.
So all of this practice, all these habits, they have to pay off in the real world. For a listener who wants to talk to new people, how do these simple structures actually work in a real dialogue?
Well, they teach these conversational patterns that rely almost entirely on the simple present tense.
Okay.
You meet someone new, you start simple. Hello, how are you? Then you move right into daily life questions using SPT. What do you do?
And the answer is right there in the structure. I am a student, or I study English.
Exactly. And the great thing is, you can just pivot to preferences using the same simple structure. What do you like to do?
I like to read books. I like to go to the market. The foundation is the same, even when the topic changes.
And what's really fascinating is how the source material then layers more advanced, natural-sounding phrases on top of that simple base.
You don't need complicated grammar to use more colorful language.
Not at all. They
Yeah.
show these dialogues where people use idioms. For instance, one speaker was struggling with some confusing instructions and they said, I couldn't make head or tail of it.
Which just means I couldn't understand it.
Exactly. It's a wonderful, natural phrase, but the conversation around it is still very simple.
What's another one?
In a conversation about studying together, one person says, 2 heads are better than 1.
Reinforcing that idea of teamwork.
Right. And the lesson is that you can use these simple structures. I like, I go, I do, I have to create tons of sentences. And then you just sprinkle in these common phrases and you start to sound incredibly natural very quickly.
Yeah, if you look at the sample conversations they analyze, like Jack and Anna at the beach or Mark and Emily with leftovers, the dialogue isn't complex at all.
No, it's just fast, simple exchanges in SPT.
It's just, what time do you get up?
I get up at 7.
What do you eat?
I eat eggs. It's that simple. You don't need a huge academic vocabulary. You just need the confidence to use the simple words you already know consistently and clearly. That's how you build a real conversation.
So what does this all mean? If we summarize the key takeaways, confidence isn't some random thing. It's a direct result of being consistent and mastering simple structures.
Like the simple present tense.
Exactly. The secret, according to these sources, is to make English a part of your daily life. Speaking those routine sentences, even if you're just talking to yourself.
And you have to remember the encouragement that the material gives. It's so profound. Every single time you speak, you are improving.
And finding your own mistakes.
Finding your own mistakes is a huge sign of progress. It shows you're learning. The sources say, you can already speak 8 correct sentences. You just need the consistency to turn that into 80.
I love that. The sources really prove that learning English is not a race. It's not a competition.
Yo.
It's just about being brave enough to speak consistently, clearly, and slowly, and not letting that fear of judgment stop you. So, since consistency is the absolute key here, how could you integrate one simple 5-minute English practice into your morning? Maybe something like speaking your full daily routine into the mirror. How could you do that starting tomorrow? Make sure you really get in the habit of making English part of your day.